Hey guys, RWC here. In today's video, I'm going to guys my combined starting 15 between the English and the Fijians for this 2023 Rugby World Cup. Of course, these two sides will be facing off in the quarterfinal this week, so I thought what better time than now to give you guys my combined 15 between these two great sides. Before we get into this, make sure to like the video, guys, subscribe to our channel, and definitely leave a comment below to let me know if you guys agree or disagree with my selection, as well as your combined starting 15 as well. Other than that, let's get straight into this. So as you can see right here, this is the front row that I've selected for this side. I've gone the likes of Ellis Ginge, number 1, Simon Matavasi at number 2, and Luke Tanguy at number 3. Again, I think it's a pretty balanced front row overall there. You know, I've chosen Ellis Ginge ahead of Joe Mahler from an English standpoint, and Mai in terms of the Fijian standpoint. So I think Ellis Ginge, beats the two of them in that position. I just think, you know, he's a good player to watch, and I've always kind of enjoyed watching him overall. He's a baby rhino, of course, and just someone who can definitely add a bit of spice in terms of that scrums, because he's really good from a scrum position. So that's kind of the main reason why I've selected him ahead of Marler and Mai in this position. But again, in terms of the other prop, in terms of that tight end, I've gone the likes of Luke Tanguy here. He's someone who's really kind of stood out for throughout this Rugby World Cup. His stock has definitely risen, I'd say. And yeah, he's a player who, I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't know of him beforehand going into this Rugby World Cup. But watching all these games back, and against particularly that game against the Wallabies, I think he really stood out in. So yeah, just thinking from a scrumming position as well, he's been pretty impressive. So that's the reason why I've selected him ahead of Kyle Sinclair in that case. And then for the hooker spots, I've gone with the likes of Sam Matavasi, ahead of Jamie George, ahead of Theo Dan, even Nick Iganaveri, his teammate. So again, it's a tough call here. Again, I know Matavasi didn't have, and he had I think there was one half. I think it was against the Georgians, if I'm not mistaken, where he wasn't as impressive because his lineup throws weren't the best. But besides that, he's been pretty good, I'd say, for the Fijians. So yeah, I got to stick with him, I think, in that position. But overall, pretty happy with that front row. Again, moving on towards the locks for the side, I've gone the likes of Maro Itoje there, number 4, and Ole Chesney, number 5. I think this duo alone has been one of the best, I'd say, throughout the Rugby World Cup so far. I mean, they're definitely up there in terms of, I guess the line-out wins as well as the line-out steals, actually. So, I think removing that duo is a wrong thing to do. And again, I don't think the Fijian lock pairing just hasn't really impressed me as much compared to English pairings. So for that reason alone, I've gone with Mario Itoje here and Chesney, just because I think those two alone, if you separate them, then it's not going to be as efficient, essentially, in terms of these set pieces, particularly from the lineouts and scrums. So, that's the reason why I've gone with these two at the locking position there. But, I guess in terms of the loose forwards here that I've selected for this side, I've got the likes of Courtney Laws there, number 6. I've gone with Lamani Botta at number 7 and Ben Earls at number 8. So, some difficult choices there. Again, Courtney Laws, I think it's a pretty easy one just because he's probably been one of the standout players for the English so far in this tournament. He got that try, obviously, against the Japanese. Kind of a weird try in a sense, kind of accidental, you can maybe say. But no, still, he's had a good tournament overall, and his tackling percentage is always, kind of through the roof. So, just another reason why I've selected him in this case. In terms of number 7, I'm going with Lamani Botta. Again, I like the experience that he has overall. It's really one of the qualities that not a lot of these players have. I think he's someone who can really just kind of shape up that kind of like forward pack. And look, when you're comparing to the other players I could have gone with here, I mean, there's Tom Curry, but again, he got carded. And then I could have even put Ben Earls here at number 7, and then maybe go with someone at number 8. Like I don't know who could I go number 8. I mean, Mata maybe from Fiji, but I just don't know. I think I kind of like Ben Earls at number 8 just a bit more because he's been pretty impressive throughout this Rugby World Cup. Actually, I would actually honestly say he's been the most impressive loose forward for the English in this Rugby World Cup. I mean, him alone, he's won the ball many times in the breakdown, particularly in that game against Argentina as well as Japan. I was pretty impressed by him. So just overall, I think it's been pretty impressive throughout this Rugby World Cup. That's my forward pack there for this combined 15. Moving on then towards the back row, I've gone the likes of Kuravali, of course, at number 9, as well as George Ford as my 9-10 combination there. And I think this is it's not. I wasn't going to say it's a tough decision, but for me personally, when it comes towards a 9 position, I wasn't actually looking at Alex Mitchell here because again, he's played most of the minutes, I'd say, there for the English. Again, there is Danny Kerr as well. He got that try against the Samoans, of course, but I don't know. I just feel like it's really between Frank Lamani and Kuravali, and I just think Kuravali has been the more impressive, I say, scrum out throughout this tournament. He kicked all those kind of penalties. Well, he kicked most of the penalties there against the Wallabies, and at the end of the day, he kind of won it for them. So That was pretty impressive to actually see. And again, him and Frank Lamani kind of go back and forth because it really just depends on who has a good game or not. But I've been more impressed with Koulibaly, I'd say, throughout this tournament so far. So for that alone, I would choose Koulibaly there, number 9. And then, George Ford, just hands down with 10 here. I mean, again, Fiji, they just don't, they're Montella there, of course, but it's not really there's not a lot of competition when you're comparing the likes of, George Ford, who's had an incredible tournament for the English. He just by himself really won that game against the Argentinians. He kicked, I think, like 4 drop goals in that game. It was something ridiculous. And again, he kind of carried on that form into the Japanese game. He got that assist towards Freddie Stewart at the end. So he's been pretty impressive throughout a lot of the games he's played. That alone is the reason why I've gone with George Ford there as my number 10. But moving on then towards these centers, I've set that to the side. I've gone with the Fijian duo there in terms of Joshua Tuisova as well as Nayavada Levo, of course. So I think these two alone just have been very impressive. I mean, particularly I would say Wasili Nayavalevo. He's been one that. He scored big tries. He scored tries at very big moments, I'd say. He got that try obviously against the I think he got one try against the Welsh and he got the other one again against the Georgians. And both of them at the times, in times of the game were pretty important moments. So that alone just kind of shows me that he's a big game player essentially. So he's definitely someone I want to have on my side. And then Tuisova, of course, just a remarkable player to watch. Of course, just a bit unfortunate what's happened with his the situation around him with his son and that. So, obviously heartfelt messages. But, again, he's just an insane player to watch overall. So whenever you get to see him play, it's kind of an opportunity just to see, kind of a superstar, really. That's kind of the way I see it. And obviously he did get that try against the Wallabies as well. So, he's in a good World Cup, I'd say. But, anyway, moving on towards the back 3 for the side, the final positions here. I've gone with the likes of Simi Rada as the number 11. He's been playing most of his minutes there, so that's the reason why I've gone with him at the number 11. I've gone with Perry Ondell there at the number 14. Again, he hasn't played as many minutes. I understand that. Again, they've kind of rotated a few times, I'd say, in terms of the wing spots. But again, when you score 5 tries, I mean, it's against Chile. It was pretty impressive. So, I mean, I definitely want to have that kind of try scoring sense, you could say, within this side, and he definitely brings you that in terms of that 14 position. And then I've gone with Freddie Stewart there, number 15. I just think he's someone who's really kind of been reliable, I'd say, throughout this tournament. He hasn't made a lot of mistakes, actually, Freddie Stewart. He's been pretty good, pretty consistent, actually. And again, like I mentioned before, he got that try against the Japanese, a pretty good try, obviously, on the left wing as well. So, overall, he's just a good player to have. He's still young. He's kind of good he's very good in the air, actually, for his age. And he just has he's a bright future, really. So just another reason why I wanted to add him in this side. But that's kind of it there with the combined 15 there with the English and the Fijians. Hope you guys obviously enjoyed this concept. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with my selection. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys next time.